I'll be going through the answers quickly, so make sure your course book is open in front of you, and please stop and rewind the video as you need to. So, got your book open in front of you? Are your answers in capitals? Want to know why the answers are the answers? Then let's go. To get the answer right for question number 1, we have to have a look at the language patterns before the gap. If we do that, we can see that we've got a phrase there, uncontrolled outbursts of temper. And then after that, we've got our modal verb can, and after that, we've got our bare infinitive be. The word that follows, in other words, the word that we need for the gap, is a modifier which modifies the noun phrase that comes before the verb structure. So we need an adjective of some kind. What's the adjective that we need here? Destructive. For question number 2, what we have to do in order to get this correct is to identify the type of sentence we're looking at here. If we do that, we can see that we've got a subclause and a main clause. Now, it's a little bit tricky to identify because the subclause is in the middle of the main clause. Normally, you would have a subclause at the beginning, or you'd have a subclause at the end of a sentence. But at the beginning of a subclause, you need a subordinate conjunction, and that's what we need here for the word for the gap, to fill in the gap. The subordinate conjunction in many cases takes the form of an adverbial or an adverb. What we have here, therefore, is an adverb. So what's the answer that we need? Regardless. For question number 3, not so difficult this one. Before the gap we've got an adjective, after the gap we've got the noun that adjective modifies, so we've got adjective, gap, noun. What could this be? Well, it can only be another adjective. What's the adjective of the stem word? Residential. For question number 4, what do we need here? Well, it's quite easy. Before the gap, we've got a possessive pronoun, but we don't have the noun to which that possessive pronoun refers. So we need to put in a noun. You've got a couple of choices here because you can make a number of different nouns from the stem word. Which one's the correct one? Well, we're talking about personal characteristics and personal behaviour. So it's not going to be composition, but it's going to be composure, the way you behave under certain circumstances. Question number 5, the language pattern before the gap, it means being. Clearly this is going to be an adjective of some kind. What's the adjective that we need? Well, given the context, we need a positive adjective, not the negative one, so the answer here is respectful. For question number 6, what kind of word do we need here? Well, we need a noun. Why do we need a noun? Well, there's 2 big clues. First of all, we've got the language pattern beforehand. You're intolerant of something. That something has to be a noun. And also, after the gap, we've got a conjunction and another noun that you are intolerant of. So here it needs to be a noun. Clearly, the positive form of the noun convenience doesn't make sense or doesn't fit the context. So here the answer is inconvenience. Question number 7 is a good test of your grammar knowledge. What follows find? An infinitive or a gerund? Of course, an infinitive. So in this case, it's find relating to something. Question number 8, another language pattern before the gap. Slightly unusual, probably one that you're not going to speak of on a daily basis, or indeed meet on a daily basis, but nevertheless, to be born plus adjective of some kind, and that adjective would describe the condition of that person who was being born. So very commonly we would say someone was born blind or someone was born deaf. In this particular context we're talking about characteristics, and so therefore the adjective is born irritable.